Welcome to Judicial Review in India, Part 3 for Administrative Law. This is Dr. K. Sangeeta. Here, the minority view of the 5 out of 11 judges said that the word law in Article 13(2) refers only to the ordinary law and not a constitutional amendment. Hence, in Sankari Prasad and Sajan Singh's case, which was rightly decided, according to them, Article 368 dealt with only the procedure of amending the constitution, but also contained the power to amend the constitution. Once again, the Supreme Court was called upon to consider the validity of the 24th, 25th and the 29th Amendment in the famous case Keshwananda Bharati vs. State of Kerala. Initially, all these cases were initiated in the state level, and here it was questioning on the right to the property or the land that was held by the ashram. But subsequently, it raised the question of constitutionality, and that was decided by the full bench, which is also known as the fundamental rights case. In this case, the petitioner had challenged the validity of the Kerala Land Reforms Act 1963. But during the pendency of the petition, the Kerala Act was amended subsequently in 1971, and it placed in the 9th schedule by the 29th Amendment Act. Here, the petitioner was challenging the validity of the 24th, 25th and the 29th Amendment of the Indian Constitution. And also the question that was involved was to what extent the amending powers conferred by under Article 368 of the Constitution. Here the Supreme Court overruled the Kolaknath case and held that under Article 368 the Parliament can amend the fundamental rights but cannot take or abridge the basic structure of the Constitution. According to this judgment, the large bench in the Indian constitutional history propounded the theory of basic structure, a limitation of amending powers. The theory formulated by the Supreme Court through the doctrine of judicial review in Indira Gandhi vs. Rajnarain, the amendment was made to validate with retrospective effect of the elections that was held, where then the Prime Minister was Indira Gandhi, and it was set aside by the Allahabad High Court, stating that it was violative. The Supreme Court struck down clause 4 of Article 329A, which was offending the clause and which was an inserted one in the 39th Amendment to validate the election with retrospective effect. Here Justice Khanna struck down the clause on the ground that it violated free and fair elections, which was an essential postulate of democracy, which in turn is also a basic structure of the Indian Constitution. Again, in Minerva Mill vs. Union of India, the petition was filed before the Supreme Court challenging taking over the management of the mill under the Silk Textile Undertaking Nationalization Act 1974 and an order made under Section 18A of the Industrial Development and Regulation Act 1951. The petition challenged the constitutional validity of Clause 4 and 5 of Article 368, introducing by Section 55 of 42nd Amendment. If these clauses were held valid, then the petitioner could not challenge the validity of the 39th Amendment, which had placed the Nationalization Act 1974 under the 9th schedule. Section 55 of the Constitution under 42nd Amendment Act 1976 inserted subsection 4 and 5 of Article 368. The Supreme Court struck down the clause 4 and 5 of Article 368 and inserted by 42nd Amendment on the ground that these clauses destroyed the basic structure and the basic features of the Indian Constitution. Limited amending powers is a basic feature of the Constitution, and these clauses removed all the limitation on amending power and thereby conferred an unlimited amending power, and it was destructive to the basic structure doctrine of the Indian Constitution. Judicial review of parliamentary and state legislative action. Article 245 and 246 of the Indian Constitution gives legislative power to the Parliament and state legislature. Article 245(1) provides, subject to the provisions of the Constitution, the Parliament may make any laws for the whole or any part of the territory of India, and the state legislature may make laws for the whole of that of the state and or to any part thereof. The words subject to the provision of the Constitution or imposed limitation to the Parliament and the state legislature to make the legislation. These words are essential for judicial review of legislative actions in India. It ensures that the legislation should be within the limitation of the constitutional provision. These words provide power to the courts to scrutinize the validity of the legislation. The Supreme Court have supreme power under Article 141, which incorporates doctrine of precedent to implement its own view regarding any conflicted issue, and it also has a binding force. The Supreme Court gives such or some of its relevant observations to judicial decision regarding the legislative actions of the Parliament and the state legislature. In Sampath Kumar vs. Union of India, the constitutional validity of the Administrative Tribunal Act 1985 was challenged on the ground that the impugned act, by excluding the jurisdiction of the High Court under Article 226 and 227 in service matters, had destroyed the judicial review, which was an essential feature of the Constitution. The Supreme Court held that though the Act has excluded the judicial review exercised by the High Court in service matters, but it has not excluded it wholly as the jurisdiction of Supreme Court under Article 32 and 136. Again, in Chandra vs. Union of India, Clause 2D of Article 323A and Clause 3D of Article 323B was challenged on the ground that these clauses excluded jurisdiction of the High Courts in service matter. The Constitutional Bench unanimously held that these provisions are to extend they exclude the jurisdiction of the High Courts and the Supreme Courts under Article 226 and 227 and 32 of the Indian Constitution, which are unconstitutional as they may damage the power of the judicial review. Then in the recent scenario, Kolu was the state of Tamil Nadu. The petitioner had challenged the various central and state laws, but in the 9th schedule, including the Tamil Nadu Reservation Act, the 9 judges bench held that any law placed in the 9th schedule after April 24, 1973, when Keshwananda Bharati's case judgment was delivered, will be open to challenge. The court said that the validity of anything on the 9th schedule, the law has been upheld by the Supreme Court and it would not be open to challenge it again. But if a law is held to be violative of fundamental rights incorporated in the 9th schedule after the judgment date of Keshwananda Bharati case, such a violation shall be open to challenge on the ground that it destroys or damages the basic structure of the Constitution. The Supreme Court observed that the judicial review of legislative actions on the touchstone of the basic structure of the Constitution. When we see judicial review of administrative action, the system of judicial review of administrative action in India came from Britain. Judicial review of administrative action is perhaps the most important development in the field of public law. The doctrine of judicial review is embodied in the Constitution, and the subject can approach High Court or the Supreme Court for the enforcement of the fundamental rights guaranteed under the Indian Constitution. If the executive or the government abuses the power vested in it, and if the action is a malefied, the same can be quashed by the ordinary courts of law. All the rules and regulation, ordinances, bylaws, notification, customs and usages are the laws within the meaning of Article 13 of the Indian Constitution. If they are inconsistent with or contrary to any of the provisions thereafter, they can be declared ultra vires by the Supreme Court or by the High Court. The judicial review of administrative action aims to protect citizens from abuse of power by any branch of the state.